Clint Cosgrove, Rivals.com, here with another episode of Coach's Corner podcast. Very special guest this week, not only because he's a well-respected and great college football coach, former NFL player, but also a good friend of mine, Wisconsin head coach Jim Leonhard. Jimmy, man, thanks for coming on. This is incredible. Didn't think we'd be talking like this when we were back in the dorms.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It was crazy. Obviously, we had a great experience at Wisconsin, but didn't think we'd be sitting in these seats having this conversation.
No question, man. So let's dive right into it. I mean, ever since freshman year, I mean, your name is synonymous with Wisconsin football, man. When fans think of the Badgers, they think of you as not only one of the greatest players of all time, but one of the greatest coaches as well. I can only imagine what it was like when you found out that you were going to be the next head coach. And, just walk me through basically what was your reaction and then what was your mindset as you put your plan into place moving forward?
I think number one, it was a shock to everyone here. We didn't think it was going to happen at that time. We knew as a program we were struggling, came off a couple of bad games, but we felt like we had the guys and the coaches to pull ourselves through it. And obviously when they made that decision, it kind of shook us to the core a little bit. And that's where I'm just honored to be the person they asked to help pull us through and push the program forward. And to see the players respond the way they have with the energy, the effort, the focus, kind of simplifying, getting back to the basics and having success, couldn't be more proud of the way our players, our coaches, our staff has really responded to these tough times.
For sure. I know you were close with Coach Chris. He's a great guy. And so, as exciting as that is, there's also the other things that come with the business. And we all know that getting in. And but yeah, I know you've handled it with class, and it's been incredible to watch you, really do an awesome and flourish. I think this goes back to when you were coming up. You weren't highly recruited. I believe, what were you? You were going to go to Stout or Whitewater until you were asked to walk on at Wisconsin. Is that true?
A lot of small schools. Division II over in Minnesota, I had a lot of opportunities to play football and baseball, and obviously the same in-state with the Division III schools. Had the opportunity to walk on. I had a ton of confidence in myself and felt like if I was given the opportunity, I could make it work. And I think the one thing that helps me as a coach now is perspective. I may be a young coach, but you think of the way that I viewed this program really almost in every way. As a fan, growing up in the state, as a walk-on, earning playing time, earning a scholarship, becoming a captain, All-American. You go to the NFL and you get around players from all around the country, big, small, winning traditions, bad traditions, right? And you just continue to learn what works, what doesn't work, what made other players' experiences special. And then to have the opportunity to come back and coach here, starting as a position coach, becoming a coordinator, and now as the interim, even though I'm young and don't have a ton of experience, I think I have great perspective on what makes a program work, ways that you're holding yourself back, maybe getting in the way of the process sometimes. And that's what excites me. We've done so many things well in this program. We need to push in other areas, and we can make it so much better than we've done in the past. And I'm excited to hopefully be in a position to affect change really on the daily basis.
For sure. I mean, you've always gone about your business. I think I was caught up in playing college football, and you were caught up on, I'm going to be the best player out there. I mean, you were All-American as a freshman, and then you go on to have an amazing career in the NFL. And you talk about not being experienced, but that's kind of where you got your doctorate, in X's and O's and team chemistry. A lot of NFL coaching isn't only coaching, you're managing personalities. So experience or not, I mean, you basically got your doctorate in the NFL. And you've lived it. You've actually lived it. You can bring your experience as a player to these kids. And they understand you've been through their shoes. You're not just speaking from the 60,000 foot coach's view. You're speaking from the player's view as well. And how would you say that your experience has molded you as a coach?
I think just being in so many different roles, it helps you understand and really be able to sympathize and empathize with these players as they go through their struggles. Coming out of high school, most of them haven't had a ton of adversity on the football field, maybe in life, but on the football field, for the most part, it's been clean. And that's not going to be the case the longer they play. Something's going to happen, right? The expectations, the opportunities may not be quite what they anticipated. And to be able to say, like, I've been in your shoes, I've done this, and to surround them with people that have their best interest in mind, I think that's the biggest part of coaching and what gets me the most excited. Right? I love Wisconsin because it's all about growth, development, opportunity, right? Doesn't matter where you come from. If you're the walk-on that seems like the lowest man on the totem pole or the All-American, like, you're going to get an opportunity to kind of create your reality, and you're going to be in a culture and in an environment that once you prove who you are, like, nobody cares, right? Just go out there and help us win. So that's what's exciting. That's why I never left. And my experience at Wisconsin was amazing, and I'm not satisfied until all my players get a better one than I had.
That's incredible. You talk about getting your shot. I think you started with that the dunk contest in preseason camp where you threw down that what was it, a 360 or that wraparound. You had everybody talking about you, and that led straight to the field, man. That was I still remember that. I know it's blowing up on YouTube now, but how about this? You know, Wisconsin's been a championship program. A lot of Big Ten titles, a lot of Rose Bowls, and that's been going for a while. But the Badgers haven't necessarily taken that next step where they're considered one of college football's blue blood programs. Can Wisconsin, take that step under your leadership? And what are some of the things that you would do to make that next step happen?
First of all, yes, we can take that step. And I think it's getting a lot of people to understand, fans, the university, you're allowed to adapt and you don't lose tradition. And I think that's a huge message of mine to the players, to really everyone that I would pitch to be in this position long term. We have to update some things. We have to do things differently in some areas, but not all. And the tradition doesn't disappear, right? What this program has done, what Coach Alvarez kind of put in place to have success consistently, that's right. We were doing that right. Well, in other areas, we need to push harder. We need to adapt. We need to support our players a little bit differently. And that's the excitement. There's been so much that's changed in college football in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah. We just have to push in a number of areas because the culture is great here. Coaches want to coach here. Players want to come here. The experience on and off the field and how we push these guys to grow and develop, that's the right model. And we just have to continue to make sure that we're trying to lead the pack in a number of areas off the field as well as on.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of untapped potential there. As much success as Wisconsin has had, I do believe there's a lot of untapped potential there. And you can't put a lot of those plans in place when you're named midseason. But at the same time, you're 3-1 as a head coach. The team's buying in. They look like they're having fun. They're playing hard. They've kind of taken over your personality, on the field, and you can see it. How did you change the mindset of the players, mid-season, and really get them to follow your lead, play in your mold? And how good can this team be under that mindset this season?
I think number one is just urgency, right? Having a sense of urgency. And you kind of mentioned it as a player. Coming in as a walk-on, I didn't wait, right? I'm not trying to just kind of go sit in the cracks and figure this thing out, like push. And just challenge our players to be more urgent, right? Learn the game plan faster, right? Then you can focus on your opponents in every way. The recovery, you get late in the season, just be more urgent and over communicate and take the gray out of all situations. We needed to call ourselves out a little bit on some of the things I think we were talking and not following through on. So, that to me was the urgency. Big message was the commitment. We have to commit to each other. You have to commit to yourself a little bit stronger than we were, and then simplify. Make it as simple as possible to allow your players to have fun, go out there, enjoy it. You need enough, right, as far as your game plans go to win, but you have to play aggressive. You have to play fast. And I think those three things were really the main messages that I tried to get across to our guys. And I think they bought into it, and we've been playing some really good football.
For sure. It's been fun to watch when I get a chance to. Definitely playing with passion, and there's something to be said about going back to the basics, and just really having fun and letting your hair loose and go. And it's been fun to watch them really, take on your personality as they go about their business. Now, I know you're a busy guy, so we'll finish with this, and I can't wait to hear your answer. You've won me over. I wasn't hard to win over. I believe in you. I know what you're capable of. I know you have the support of our former teammates. The fans are in your corner as well. But let's pretend I am the Wisconsin administration. Give me your elevator pitch as to why you should be the next full-time head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers.
That's a big question right there. To me, one thing I love about football is the competitive nature of it, right? Being a competitor, you want to win, and the passion, the emotion of it, right? That's what makes the game special. That's what builds all these great relationships and the feelings, right? If you don't have the emotion and the passion behind it, everything is hollow. And that's one thing I think our players respect me for. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be truthful. And we're going to push. We're going to challenge to go win. And I love the leadership side of coaching. I love the mentorship side. And obviously X's and O's are what I'm known for. So I'm excited to push this program farther, right? And really dedicate myself to challenge everything, right? We've been doing good. That's not good enough for me. We're in a great place when we were kind of sitting in the middle of the Big Ten and people thought it was important enough to make drastic change. So we're starting in a good place, and we just have to continue to push to make it better. And I'm excited to hopefully get that opportunity.
Awesome. Well, Jimmy, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's great to see you in this position. I have no doubt that you'll make big strides in recruiting, NIL space, all of that moving forward. I know just your personality, and you talk about stretching the limits, and I don't know if there are any under your leadership. So I'm excited for you. We look forward to watching you the rest of this season, and can't thank you enough for coming on Coach's Corner, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.